Hello friends, and welcome to Catspaw Adventures, or welcome back if you're a returning viewer. And today it's my genuine pleasure to introduce a brand new series here, Prey, You Only Live Once, or YOLO for short. Oh, I love Prey. I love this game so much, and I'm so excited to finally be able to share it with you here on the channel, and in glorious 4K quality. Now that leap of quality is not just for the kids with expensive toys. Even for the majority of you who are probably watching this at say 1080p or lower, that image is going to be crisper, with less YouTube compression muddying the details. And those details are beautiful because this is Prey, and Prey is a work of art. If you're not familiar with this game, you're in for a real treat. Prey was the last great immersive sim released by Arkane Studios, and arguably, in my personal opinion at least, one of the greatest immersive sims ever made. And although it shares some superficial thematic elements with the 2006 shooter by the same name, the two are completely unrelated. A long story short, when this game was still under development and didn't even have a name yet, Bethesda came to Arkane and more or less said, "We own this IP called Prey that no one's using. Would you like it?" And my understanding is that Arkane, pretty understandably, saw a benefit in leveraging an existing IP to support their own project. And now don't get me wrong, the 2006 Prey was a fantastic game in its own right and is tragically underrated. It was well ahead of its time in many respects, forcing the player to think with portals a year before another game did so more famously and successfully. I think it still holds up well today. But Arkane's 2017 Prey is more properly regarded as a spiritual successor to these System Shock games, which my friend Blondie recently did long plays of on his channel. In particular, it takes after System Shock 2, and in my opinion, it is without a doubt a worthy successor. Now, those of you who are new here might be wondering exactly what the YOLO part of this run means, and even if you know, I'm sure you're curious how the rule set is being applied in Prey. As with my Dishonored 2 You Only Live Once series, this challenge run is inspired by John from Many a True Nerd, whose YOLO playthroughs of the modern Fallout games are absolutely peak YouTube long play content. If you haven't seen them, definitely go check them out when you're done here. So what exactly are the rules of this YOLO challenge run? Well, to begin with, I'm playing on Nightmare difficulty, with all survival options on. Weapons must be repaired or they'll break, and receiving damage can inflict debilitating trauma statuses, which can only be removed using consumable items. Now put simply, YOLO means that I cannot recover health by any means whatsoever. Any damage I take is permanent, and if my health reaches zero, the run is over. Now, Prey doesn't have an Iron Man mode as such, but make no mistake, this is a permadeath run. If I have to start over, I start over. And just like Dishonored 2, Prey wasn't really designed for this sort of challenge. It is brutally difficult for the unprepared, unforgiving to the inexperienced, and features frequent random respawns of dangerous enemies in areas you've already cleared. It has an enemy whose entire purpose is to disguise itself as part of the scenery and ambush you when you least expect it, and these are just challenges I'll have to adapt to as they come. Unfortunately, Prey also has various items and mechanics that restore health, as well as multiple sources of health regeneration. I've spent a great deal of time and effort personally modding the game, redesigning any item, power, or system related to health recovery so that wherever possible, rather than just removing or ignoring those parts of the game, I can use them in a way that supports the spirit of the challenge, and changes like having food and medkits give temporary damage resistance instead of recovering health. Now, there are a lot of hardcore gameplay overhauls in Nexus, and I could have picked any one of them in order to pump up the challenge a little further. But the fact is, I love Prey's core gameplay as it is, and I've taken great pains to keep it intact. I think you'll be just as pleased with the result as I am. I'll go over the meaningful changes as we encounter them in the game, but for those who are interested in the details, you should see the list below of all the adjustments I've made. You can pause the video if you need time to read it. For now, let's get started. Prey is the story of Morgan Yu, a brilliant scientist and inveterate nerd, living on Earth in a bougie San Francisco apartment that probably costs more than I make in a year. We awaken in our apartment on the morning of Monday, March 15th, 2032, ready for our first day at a new job. We've been hired by our brother Alex to do bleeding-edge R&D work at a corporation called TranStar, where our parents sit on the board of directors. Apparently we're running late, so Alex has sent a helicopter to bring us to the local TranStar facility for a very unusual training exercise.
I know the test might seem a little unconventional, but it's a Yu family tradition. Breaking convention is in our blood.
I say unusual, but this exercise has all the hallmarks of ordinary video game tasks that are very obviously designed to teach the player the basics about interacting with and traversing their environment. What's less obvious at this point is that they have a very real, very logical in-universe purpose as well, a purpose that we seem to be completely failing to fulfill. They're definitely testing us, but not in the ways that we think.
I'm sorry, can someone please explain to me what's happening? Simon?
I installed exactly what Tina brought down.
Did you double check?
Speaker's still on.
Stick a pin in that. We'll be coming back to it.
I'm going to show you.
The sequence concludes with what appears to be a short personality test involving a variation on the trolley problem, written by someone who seemed to have some issues to work out regarding obese men. We're just gearing up for a delightfully pointless Rorschach test when tragedy strikes.
Oh my god! Security! Security!
First lesson of Prey: don't let the guy in charge run out of caffeine. No, wait, that's wrong. I mean, it's not wrong, but it's not the point. The first lesson of Prey is don't trust coffee cups. Or, well, anything else around you that isn't bolted to the floor, because it's probably a mimic.
Alex,
Simmons, what's going on?
we have a problem.
What about Morgan?
He's alive, sedated.
Clean it up. I'm on my way.
Got it.
Good morning, Morgan. Today is Monday, March 15th, 2032.
So that went well. I usually count as a win when my first day on the job does not involve getting gassed to sleep and having security called. But, I can't really pick your coworkers. Welcome to Prey, everyone. Our alarm clock lied because it is not, in fact, Monday, March 15th, 2032, and nothing here is what it seems. Now, I'm thinking the first thing we ought to do is get dressed, because I don't fancy doing this game in pajamas. We've got a bit of looting to do here in our apartment, so first, let's step out the door, and we'll get a very important message as soon as we pick up this wrench.
Hello, Morgan. It's time we spoke. My code name is January. You're not dreaming. What happened yesterday was real. If you want to know what's going on, first, you need to get out of your apartment building. You're not safe.
You don't say. So that kind of not safe. Is that what we're talking about here? Yeah. So no surprise, I know my own password, and just in case you didn't get the message, it's not safe. The word of the day is danger. Actually, the word of the day is EOM. So I've seen people get confused about this. This is a bit of jargon that you'll see in office environments a lot, particularly in IT. It just means end of message. Means that whatever you said in the subject line is supposed to say it all.
Good. You're in the simulation lab. Now get to the exit. I'll keep in contact.
It seems like they've been observing us quite a lot. And Alex Yu has sent out an announcement to the entire Neuromod Division about what happened during that test. So, regarding what's on the computers, there are tons of lore notes, and I usually breeze through them. I'm going to try to leave each email up on the screen for at least a second, just so that anyone who wants to can pause and read. Now, Marco Simmons here has very kindly left his password for us in total defiance of company password policy. And it's just the Neuromod Division email. And then this one here, talking about the test results. Seems Alex is very concerned that he did not get the results he wanted. Now, later on in the game, we will get a notification that points us at this little cache up here. Let's see, what do we get? Leverage assist? That's all right. That's not really a very lucky drop, but I'll take it. Now, of course, you can find it. It's there from the beginning. You can find it if you're diligent about exploring, so it's not like it's a sequence break or anything like that. Those sequence breaks as such, they're hard to do in Prey. They've really accounted for a lot of the things you might want to do. Now, one last thing. We will get a code for this safe later. I know it right now, but there's really not much point to getting into it because some of the things in there will either get elsewhere or won't do us a whole lot of good. It's just extra stuff to carry around at the moment. So I'll come back for it. We will be back here. Well, first of all, let's hit OK here, just so it'll stop making that awful noise. Thank you. Much better. Now we can switch between the different scenes here. We can also reset the test environment. There's not much point to doing it now, but again, we will be back here. Now don't worry about that guy. He's just there to tutorialize mimics for us.
Time for Cacoplasmus. Everyone calls them mimics. Be careful what you pick up.
We're not going to go near him, however, because we don't have to. He does not actually contain any loot, and he will not leave there if we don't bother him.
Morgan. He's alive. Sedated. Clean it up. I'm on my way. Got it.
Real quick, I just want to run back here. So regarding mimics, let's talk about mimics. They can take the form of just about any nearby freestanding object, and that makes them incredibly dangerous ambush predators. And their choice of what to mimic is dynamic, but their mimics are there in the level from the start, have certain scripted set-piece behaviors. For example, there's a mimic in this room. Now, while you can go around hitting every duplicate item like these toilet paper rolls just to test and make sure that they're not a mimic, I happen to know that in this room at least, the mimic always starts out mimicking one of those stools. As long as you know a mimic is there, it is generally not super threatening. It's usually pretty easy to run up on them and take them out. But knowing they're there is the catch. There are tells for the ones that you either don't know about or are just there respawning. Now, we're about to face two more of them upstairs here. And before we do that, I want an insurance policy against taking an unlucky hit. So this is a good time to talk about one of the main changes I've made to support the YOLO rule set. Healing has been replaced with damage resistance. A prey normally has a status effect called Well Fed, which regenerates health for a short time after you consume food or drink. In YOLO, Well Fed has been replaced by a buff called Resilient, which reduces physical damage by 10%. I've got a couple medkits here which give you that for 60 seconds, but I think the 10 seconds from food is more than enough to deal with a couple of mimics. So let's chow that. Charge up our swing. Get ready to smack this mimic. Then there's another one over here, mimicking one of these cups. That was tricky. You could have almost gotten a swipe in there. That's fine. That's fine. We handled it. That second mimic there, the cup under there, is often really tricky. He likes to bounce around, and he's in a place that's tough to smack directly. And as we go through here, we've got another set piece to watch with a poor gentleman who's having a very tough time with this mimic here. This is going to show us exactly why it's been so tough to deal with the outbreak. Watch carefully. So we've got four of them here. One there in the corner, one coming up the wall.
No one has been able to stop
and they just
mimics from
vanished.
multiplying since they broke containment.
The mimics that are part of this little cutscene here,
Just a
they're
little
fake.
further.
But they're there to make you paranoid. So you saw two over there. You're supposed to think that they're going to be there. Saw another go over here. You're supposed to be primed for seeing all these duplicate objects and immediately starting to test them. The mimics are not in here. As a last bit of deception, we saw one go out here and go to the left, and we've got these two boxes here. But these boxes are fine. So you think you know what's going on, you test some duplicate items, and you're like, oh, okay, well, those aren't mimics. You let your guard down. Fortunately, their initial mimics are in fact scripted. And now they are dealt with. Now you did see a fourth spawn, but he is not in here. We'll get to him. And this email here is just talking about exactly how neuromods work. Essentially, it's like writing new memories to your brain. You gain a skill, it's like writing a whole new set of memories, and if you uninstall the neuromod, those memories go away, along with everything you did during that span of time. It resets your brain back to where it was when you first put the neuromod in. Which explains why we don't know what the hell is going on right now. Now, it was obviously a risk to come in here and deal with those mimics. Could have taken a hit. I knew where they are, but still could have taken a hit. It is actually possible to get through this room without even touching the floor, without engaging any of those mimics. Now, the first time you play the game, you get a pop-up right about here, which explains Arkane's whole play your way philosophy. It tells you very directly you can find the keycard that I just found, or you can find an alternate way. Now, the alternate way is a maintenance hatch on the other side of the room that we can just climb up to. But we could have also just done this. And said so long losers to all of them. And if we don't unlock that door, the mimics will not get out. But I want to deal with them anyway, because they have... What is going on with this access panel? Please don't. Please don't do this. Hello, Phantom. You're not real.
That was a phantom. Type an Anthrophantasmus. Keep moving.
Yes, do keep moving, because if you don't take care of this mimic before he gets free of the glue, he will pop up and you'll have to deal with him. But that does create an interesting implication, because mimics do get out of glue after a very short time. So that mimic is still glued. That implies that this guy just died seconds ago, just right before we came out here. Very unfortunate timing. But okay. We've got a lot of mimics to deal with in this next room, so let's get up here onto an elevated point and keep an eye on where they go.
Morgan, there, in the foyer. Grab the neuromod you see in the display case. Normally it's a fake, but I
Okay,
swapped
so
a real one
you,
for you.
I think we
The
can
neuromods are
glue you
critical.
up.
You won't survive without using
Now
them
watch
to
out, because there's
install
one right here.
I've already updated your transcribe with the list you requested.
Okay, that's been too long, so he's going to get out of the glue, so that's fine. We'll get back up here. Oops, let's get my hotkeys set up. I do want the glue gun to be on 4 and this to be on 5, so I can get them quickly. It's just what I'm used to. Come on, boys, where are you? Okay. Any others around? Come on out. What did he just turn into? Oh, he's mimicking the dead mimic. There we go. Okay, I think that's all but one of the loose mimics. Okay, now, I think there's one over here. No, it looks like he came out and I dealt with him. Either that or he's in the bathroom. Let's grab that neuromod. And then aside from the loose mimics, there is one more in here who likes to stay mimicked as that book until you read this little note here, at which point he just pops up and ambushes you. Quite rude.
Robert, Alice, thank God, no one else is
Where are you?
hiding. I'm in the conference room. I can't.
Jesus, you're still in the lab?
I
Look at
can't
that.
get
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I did.
There's. What the hell is security?
I don't know what's happening, but Robert, you have to get out of there. Come to the elevators. Someone said we're evacuating.
That.
Robert?
Shh. Hang on. Someone's coming.
Yeah, I'm afraid that didn't work out too well for Robert. But okay. I hear the mimic chittering. I think he likes, so the mimic likes to mimic yeah, there's the trash can right there. Gotcha. And then, yep, yeah, there's the one in here. So one of them likes to mimic whatever the hell that red thing is. There we go. All right, that's all sorted. I think there's just a couple things in here. Let me just collect this literal toilet paper. Okay, now we've got one neuromod and I could use it immediately. I don't quite need to. I could get leverage one and get in there, But again, I don't really need to at this time. Could go up there, there's some stuff, but we will be back here. For now, I think we're done here, so let's head out into the lobby and see what Talos I has to offer us. I noticed my mic levels were not what I wanted them to be, so I've adjusted the mic position. Hopefully that helps a bit.
You made it. Ready for your first real view of the world?
Indeed, because as most of us had figured out by this point, we are not in Kansas anymore. In fact, we're not even on Earth. We are in beautiful, beautiful space on the beautiful, beautiful Talos I space station, which, well, it's not doing as hot as it used to be, so, maybe let's give ourselves a bit of a level up here. So as I mentioned, I've done away with anything related to health regeneration or gaining health in any way, and that means that the conditioning tree, which used to grant max health, unfortunately there's no way to increase max health in Prey without also granting yourself a full heal at the same time. So I had two choices. I could either entirely remove the toughness upgrades or just outright ignore them, which I never feel good about ignoring content in a game just for a rule set. I like to find a way around that. So what I've done is I've modded the toughness upgrades so that rather than increasing max health, they grant an increasing amount of resistance to both traumas and physical damage. And so I'm going to want to get on that right away. Now, I won't gain any damage resistance just from conditioning, but it's going to get us moving in the right direction. And also, nope, 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 nope.
I've updated your map. There's a video you need to see. I know you have a lot of questions.
Yep.
I'm sure there are many TranStar personnel who wish they had stronger, faster bodies at the moment.
Is it just me, or is January sound a little bit judgy when he says that one? The line is a little bit different depending on which Neuromod you pick, and that particular one always sounds like he's poking a little bit at you. But, you know, whatever. He can poke if he wants.
Station leadership has issued an alert. All personnel should report to muster stations immediately and await further instructions.
Okay, now a word about the strategy here I'm going to pursue. Obviously, there are so many places that we could go from here. Nearly the entire station is pretty much open to us at this point. There are some areas that are gated off by story, but they're easy enough to open up. So I could, obviously I sped through, or at least it's going to look like I sped through the first area, but we will be back to Neuromod Division. Now, this area is not in the least bit linear, and you're naturally drawn over to the TranStar exhibit there, but you don't want to go there right away, because if you go to that entrance of it, it will spawn an enemy which at this time is going to be very difficult for us to deal with. And we're just not going to want to do that. I'm going to activate that lift in order to get the story part of that started. Hello, friend turret.
Getting around is going to be a problem. The main lift is broken. The system is telling me it's fine. It's just... the diagnostic code is changing every time I make a request. I'll let you know if I find a workaround.
You do that, January. In the meantime, I'm going to get this area prepped for dealing with its mimic residents, of which there are many. So I like to use this table as a bit of an overwatch point. It's got a good view of pretty much everywhere that it needs to. Oops, let me hop up there, and yeah, that's about right. Get him deployed. And there's going to be a mimic on the counter here. I want to be careful about activating it so that it doesn't jump at me. There. Okay, I heard it chitter. Come on, buddy. Come on. There he goes. There we go. Not the most graceful way to deal with him, but it avoids even the possibility of taking damage. And when they're on a counter like that, they're a bit difficult to run up on. Now I'm going to activate these and then hop over this barrier here. And let them contend with the turrets. Okay, pretty sure there's one still active. I think it's up there somewhere. Oh, yeah, I just tried the turret, catch a glimpse of it. Okay, well, I'm gonna start looting. And we'll just wait for him to show himself. Did I hear? Yep. Come on, buddy. Come and meet your doom. Yeah. Oh, come on. Really? Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna let him be for now, because I do not want to deal with him when he's mimicking an explosive canister. That's just that just sounds like a bad time altogether. Okay. Probably the best way to go about this is going to be, let's see. There we go. That did the trick. Why am I hearing flames? Okay, I'm not sure why I'm hearing flames, but just gonna let that be. Now, longtime players will realize that, or they'll remember that there's a smuggling ring that has hidden goodies around Talos in any of those alarm bells that happen to have a glowing red light over them. Okay. I believe we've got all the mimics in this area sorted. Now, security is blocked off, or blocked out rather, but fortunately, developers have granted us a very handy alternative route in here. And that is going to get us access to the first shotgun. And a door code as well. And then a bunch of emails on the security station, more or less going over just how effed everything is. This one's a bit special here, but we'll get more into what's going on with Mikhaila Ilyushin later on. And as well, what's going on with that missing keycard there. Nothing in these cabinets. Now, there is a safe here for which there's not an obvious code, but if you look on the desk here, there's a highlighted passage here. If you treat that passage as a 4-digit number, it'll get you a bunch of goodies. And yes, let's go through the inspect animations for these since it's the first time we've picked them up. Okay, how is our inventory looking? Not great, but that's fine. We can deal with that very quickly. However, we've got what we need here. There is a mimic in this room, but since we know he's there, we can deal with him without issue. This is why I love the Disruptor stun gun. If you can get the drop on something, you can pretty much stun lock them. Yeah, no space for that, but that's fine. We'll be back in here in a second. For now, let's grab the area map. And then a character sheet, which we'll need later. And finally, over here in the corner, in a briefcase, 4 neuromods that I bet a whole lot of people don't know are there. And we'll need to come back with some extra space. Well, actually, I say that, but let's go ahead and spend some of those neuromods. One of the first things I'm going to end up getting is suit modification anyway, so let's get repair 1, which is a prerequisite to this, and grant the first little bit of inventory space. And while I'm looking at it, I'm also going to get materials expert, because the first thing I'm going to want to do when I get upstairs is start recycling. Now, for those that don't know, the loot and crafting in this game is handled by breaking down all junk items into recyclable materials of one of 4 kinds: mineral, organic, exotic, and synthetic. And everything you can craft in the game takes a certain combination of one or more of these. Now here's a mimic set piece. We're obviously meant to think that the one that was moving and is therefore rolling downstairs is the mimic. That's not the case. But since we know who the mimic is,
as a reminder, all personnel must
get the drop on them.
monthly physicals during their stay aboard Talos I. Dr. DeVries promises to make them as quick and painless as possible.
And we just heard the sound effect of a mimic changing, so we know one is in here. But that's okay. We can just run past, and the turret will deal with it. Thank you, friend turret.
Scanning target. No type and material detected.
Well, not yet. And then not much of consequence here in Bellamy's old office, except for a very interesting email, if you aren't already aware of it, from us to Bellamy, making it very clear that we were, at the very least, a willing participant in some degree. Now, much more importantly in here, in Bianca Goodwin's office, the very first email has the key code to volunteer quarters, 3580. So most of the key codes in the game are randomized. Some of them are the same each time. And one thing that's the same each time is that no matter whether you're male or female, RPA thinks that we are a hot boss, which is fantastic. But at least that's given us access to our key code, although January will call us up and very helpfully backseat us to give it to us if we don't find it very quickly. Thanks, January. But all right.
Welcome back. This has been your home for the last 3 years. The video should be on your workstation.
Now, you might be wondering why I just put the shotgun in the recycler there. If you pre-ordered this game, then you have this locker with a handful of goodies. Now, I thought about looking for a way to disable this for the challenge run, but it's really not that big a deal. Obviously, you saw I already had a shotgun, and this one is no different. It just looks fancier. It's got a nice skin. A handful of neuromods, and when you see the number of them that I will be crafting throughout the game, this 3 is nothing. So really, it's much ado about nothing. I'm not that fussed about it. Let's hoover up everything in here. But not that, because we can't recycle it. Well, at least not by putting it in the recycler. I'll take those 3 neuromods happily, along with the keycard teleconferencing, and a fabrication plan, and another upgrade kit. I finally go to grab that med kit. I think I've gotten all of the recyclable material in here. Yeah. So let's drop the rest of that in here. And now let's talk about recycling priorities. Now, people who have played this game will know that one of the big bottlenecks, if you will, in terms of recyclable material is always going to be mineral and or synthetic, but usually mineral. So one thing that I found is that between just my own play habits and the YOLO run, I don't use alcohol, and I don't use, well, almost any food at all, really. But I found that since you get so much organic food, just like apples and bananas that only give organic material as a yield, which is not all that useful, it's everywhere. I like to recycle anything that has a material or a synthetic component as well. So any packaged food, in addition to being bad for you, is also going to go into the meat grinder. And I think that is everything there. Yeah, that's all that I want to toss in. And now for one of the most satisfying mechanics in all of gaming. It is like a slot machine of loot. I love it. Okay. Now let me take a minute to get my inventory organized the way that I like. All right, there we go. And in the process of organizing, I discovered a piece of alcohol that I forgot to recycle, so we'll get that done. And I've left a space here for a weapon that we'll get very, very shortly. Now let's toss the alcohol in there. And quickly recycle that. And then how are we doing on ammo? Could use a little bit, but I think I am fine for now. Now, one of the first things that the main story is going to want us to do is watch a video here. I'm not going to do that quite yet. And that is because I've already got the keycard that I need in order to get started on absolutely breaking this game. So first of all, let's set up the turret. And let it deal with the passel mimics.
Scanning target, no alien material detected.
I'm pretty sure that was not all of them. I'm pretty sure one got away and mimicked something else. But I also know that there's one on the floor right here. That's the real pistol right there. This one is a trap. Well, actually, looking at that corpse over there, maybe I got it after all. Although this reminds me, let me make sure my keybinds are set up correctly. Okay, yeah. And also, while I'm at it, let me very quickly upgrade the firepower of the shotgun, and something that may surprise a lot of folks, the range of the disruptor. This disruptor is a hard counter to a lot of enemies, and so I want it to work at as far away of a range as possible. But okay, I think that was... yeah. Let's bring him back in here. And I'll leave that one right there, that'll do. As full overview of the entire office. Or hallway, rather. Okay. Now grab the ammo fabrication plan, and thank you for that pistol. Now let me get it put in its spot, and set to number 2. Also, let's have the shotgun at the ready, just in case that I have missed a mimic. Ooh, I will take the shotgun shells, thank you very much. I think we're okay. Wasn't sure if my count was off, but seems like we're okay. Alright, let's grab a few things over here. And then run across here to the Neuromod Sales Division. We got a tip about someone named Yuri Kimura who had some Neuromods. And it sounds like Yuri's right here. Yep. She's in a very helpful spot. Thank you for making my job easy. Now let's go through smashing everything that we need to and looting all the things that aren't bolted down. There's a mimic in here, but fortunately he's one of those scripted set-piece mimics who always starts out as the same thing. So we can just counter him very easily and get one of the most important weapons in the game. You laugh now, some of you do anyway, but veterans will know exactly why this weapon is awesome. It is literally a Nerf crossbow. That's all it is. The pop-up tutorial for it literally describes it as foam darts which do 0 damage. Completely accurate. However, it can be used to distract enemies, to detonate things that detonate on touch, and often most importantly, to activate touchscreens that are too far away to touch. Now, some of you are no doubt going to be very confused here, some of you less so, because I'm completely ignoring what the main story has told me to do, and I'm instead heading over to the area that we just came from, the simulation labs. And I'll explain why in a minute here. Some of you already have realized that, I'm sure. Oh, damn it. I hate blur effects, but whatever. I did that to myself. In any event. So just to recap, we got the teleconferencing key off of our desk. The teleconferencing key got us over here into the Neuromod Sales Division, where we gained access not only to those 4 Neuromods, which are very welcome, but also to the Nerf crossbow, or the Hunter's Bolt Caster, as they call it. But let's face it, it's a Nerf crossbow. What else is it? But the other critical thing that we got was a access code to volunteer quarters. So now I'm going to do what a lot of people are probably surprised that I didn't do my first time through here, which is a very trivial use of the glue gun to get up to the second story. Now, before I do anything else, before I forget, let me grab the spare parts over here. And there's a handful of lootables over here. And I think, yeah, I've got plenty of inventory for now. Now, if you didn't get it on top of the data tower, getting up here will give you access to your first disruptor stun gun. And the reason why I didn't come up here the first time is because it would take up a lot of space that I wanted to have room for other things on my way through the lobby. But the access code to volunteer quarters, 3580. I love that you can use the numpad for that. It's very dark. we are not, in fact, going to do anything about that, not for quite some time, actually. It would require facing a very dangerous enemy that we are not yet prepared to face. However, there's several recycle charges in here, and I'll absolutely take those. Along with a weapon repair kit. I'll take some shotgun shells, but I think I will leave the food and stuff here for now. I'll come back for it. Now, behind this maintenance access panel is an industrial space, into which I'm going to entirely fail at platforming, as I usually do. And now, it is time to go sneaky breaky. Because in the next room over to our left is an extraordinarily dangerous enemy. One which I absolutely cannot afford to risk facing. Prowl, which one is that? Oh, hey, movement speed while sneaking. I will happily take that, and I'll also add the recycler shielding while I'm at it. Yep, there, and I've got room for one more chipset. So chipsets, by the way, I didn't explain this in the first part, and I apologize, but chipsets in Prey are essentially equivalent to bone charms. They're passive buffs that you equip or unequip depending on what you want to be able to do. Now, there's a couple of turrets in here, but they are false friends, because if we attempt to utilize them against the enemy in the next room, it will take control of them and use them against us. So I'm going to get them as far as I can out of its reach and put them down here for convenient use later. There we go. Did not fail at platforming that time, thanks. Now let's just go get this other turret here. And good. Sometimes it flies into the upper part, and it absolutely will see you through that window. Now, the enemy in the next room is called a technopath. It is extremely dangerous. It can not only take control of all electronic equipment, but it can spawn an area hazard just magically on top of you that does AoE electrical damage. I cannot afford to have it detect me under any circumstances. And so the fact that I've come here at all should obviously suggest that whatever I hope to gain from here is absolutely critical. And it is. Let's see. Okay. A couple of recycler charges there. And I'm going to need to recycle this grate, but doing so may generate some noise. So I want to drop down there quickly. And I may have to do a bit of a... may have to do a bit of very, very careful, very judicious waiting in place, depending on how long this guy decides to investigate, if he does. Fortunately for Mercy, he was not yet over here, so I was able to grab that Neuromod. Yep, there's him grabbing one of the turrets in the main room. Now, is he there? So if he sees me down here, and he will, then he'll start spawning electrical anomalies, and that's pretty much this run done. Okay. Okay, I don't love that I can hear it. Okay, phew. Okay, so that was just him in the next room that I was hearing. Fine, fine. He usually will not come over here unless given a reason to do so. I'd like to not give him a reason to do so. And... okay, lucky, 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 lucky. Positioning is very good. Okay. Need to create an access point for myself. Where is he? Okay. Then move away. He may investigate that. Okay, so far so good. Okay, there he is. Just a spot there. Okay. Good. He's under. He's under. Okay, good. Go, go, go. Okay. That was the point of greatest hazard. Go, 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 go. And lock the door. Okay. Okay, sound should not propagate out of this room with the door locked. At least, not unless I am extremely injudicious about the amount of noise that I make, and I'm going to try not to be. And there it is. That's what we came for. The Neuromod fabrication plan. Now, if you're not familiar with this game, you may not understand just why that's so damn important. And I'll explain in a minute. But before I start going on about that, I want to make sure that we take care of everything that we need to do here safely. Doors are unlocked. Let's just grab these 2 emails. Oh, I did not mean to hit that, but that's fine.
Speaking of up, did you see the photos of his
Okay.
daughter Maya?
Where is he?
His daughter. It's his wife. Are
Okay,
you
good.
kidding me?
I think he's over there.
She died. Well, when
Well,
he was young.
I say I think,
It's in his records.
but I gotta be sure.
Christ, you've
So
seen
I
his
cannot
records?
afford him being
Yeah.
under here.
During the security checks, looking for those red flag psychs that the brass is up in arms about. Apparently, came home, found her dead on the floor. Aneurysm. Spent her life studying the brain. The
I
brain
need
takes its toll.
to have his position
Everything else
confirmed.
time with the shaming. Christ. You already said that, but I don't think he heard you. He's not looking at this station, that's for sure.
There he is. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, so he's pathing underneath there. You can see him right there. And you can also see the turrets that are hovering around him. Just need to make sure that he's no longer within line of sight of the lift. Come on, buddy. Where are you? Okay. I've got to take a chance on something. Gotta give him a distraction. And I could take a med kit, but honestly, if he spots me and spawns an electrical anomaly, it will not make a difference. Because the med kits are only going to deal with physical damage. Okay. Okay, good. He hasn't come in here either. So let's very quickly grab all this stuff from the room that I just unlocked. Let's see where he is. Okay, don't go close enough to the door to for it to open. See if I can stay low. Where is he? Good enough. See ya, loser. Okay. That was it. That was what we came here to do, and it was absolutely huge. Whew. All right. We will be back here in the simulation lab 1 or 2 more times. For now, there's one thing I want to do with these 11 neuromods that I've got. I'll start out by grabbing position 1, and then necropsy. That's going to let us loot all the things that we couldn't get from the mimics before. And actually, while I'm thinking of it, let me grab leverage 1 as well, just so I can clear out this bathroom. Now, this bathroom being one that you actually have to spend an ability point to get into, it is actually safe. There are no mimics waiting in here. My thinking is that they figured that if you just spent your first neuromod to get in here, They wanted to reward you with you know, just a safe, straightforward reward with no actual risks in it. And I can respect that. That was the thinking. Oop. Hi, can I get out, please? There we go. I'll just take a quick stroll through the area that we previously cleared. And you can see the supply area down here. There's a few things in it. I'm mainly just here for that mimic piece. But since we're here, that's not what I wanted to hit, thank you. There we go. Oops, I put that one a little bit low, so let's set that here. There we go. And then one right there, because I want to grab... nope, there we go, got it. And with all that lovely exotic material gathered, and our prize in hand, let's head on back to the lobby. Before we head on over to the office, I want to show you something about leverage that will come in very handy. These data towers require leverage 3 to get through, but a quirk about leverage means that you can use a lower leverage item as a crowbar against a higher leverage item.
Good morning, Talos. All personnel should report to their workstations.
That should be good enough to get through. Yeah, perfect.
For any reason.
There's not actually a lot here in human resources, but there are a few things. All those cans of green tea and such on, I will happily recycle for their packaging. Now there is a mimic in here, a very sneaky one in fact. But again, since he's a set piece who is scripted to do a specific thing, we can anticipate him and deal with him. Grounding resistor. Ooh, that's nice. Remind me again, that is electrical damage, yes? Yes, yes, please, I will take that. That's huge. So any chipset which reduces any damage type is huge. That's halved. All electrical damage halved. That's... Love it. Absolutely love it. This is why we explore. And just a handful of emails here on Thomas Tucker's terminal. We'll get to the thing going on with Lane Carpenter later. He's a bit of a tool. I'll let you find out when I get to it. Everyone who's already played the game knows exactly what I'm talking about. And if you don't, well, let me not ruin the surprise. Now, a lot of people leave the turrets down here in the lobby to take out the stuff that spawns. I don't like doing that. I feel like it's wasteful, personally, because the turrets just don't last very long. They might do a little bit of damage against the nasty phantoms and whatnot that spawn down here, but for the most part, they're just going to get shredded, and you'll just spend a bunch of you'll just spend a bunch of spare parts repairing them repeatedly. I don't feel like it's a good use of resources. So what I like to do is have them down here to handle those initial mimics. In fact, well, make sure that I got all the mimic stuff. Okay, good. And then one by one, I'm going to use them for other purposes before I take them upstairs and mount them in my office for better protection. So first thing is this room full of mimics. And these are bullshit mimics. Usually you can tell mimics because they are mimicking something that is nearby. Not here. They've just straight up put two different consumable buff items side by side, both of which are mimics. There we go. Absolute bullshit. Do not agree with that bit of design. There's another one of the smuggler caches. Now, I don't want to go too far in here, because if I go too far in, it's going to trigger one of the mimics. Well, let's get him set up. And then, who is it over here? I hate this room. I am going to take a med kit now just for some preemptive damage resistance.
No type of material detected.
Over there somewhere. What is it? Is it you? Okay. There we go. Good grief. How tanky is this mimic? Come on, man. And there's one more that likes to drop down from the ceiling, and I'm not sure exactly what the trigger is for him. Oh, I guess maybe he already got gotten. Yeah. Yeah, looks like he got gotten as part of the fire against the other one. That's fine. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing of value in this room, and the two things that you think are value are cheaply placed mimics. Don't love that. But I do love all the exotic material that the mimics are worth, which is why I bother with this room at all. Now the turret's done its job. Let's bring him out here. And time to deal with a couple more mimics in one of their set pieces.
Scanning target. No alien material detected.
Now this wide open bathroom over here, this one I'm pretty certain is safe. And I'm also pretty certain there's nothing in those stalls. Oops. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to run to the recycler, and I'll be right back with you when I'm done. And by the way, while I'm rearranging my inventory, I'm also going to recycle some of the suit repair kits. And the main reason is that suit repair kits, you only really need to use them when your suit falls below certain thresholds. And those thresholds are only going to be met if I'm taking a ton of damage. So they're almost never needed. So that's going to be worth a lot of synthetic material. Now, where were we? I believe we're about to deal with a couple of mimics. First, I want to make sure that they can't run and hide in here. I'm going to block off this doorway. And now I'm going to make sure that they can't get out into the wider lobby. So I'll create a hazard there for them. And it's actually quite safe in here until you go into one of the stalls. So I'm going to go all the way back here. There we go. Usually I'm not quite so good at getting the glue on them. Usually at least one of them runs out there, and which is why I did all that prep. But that's fine. Shotgun works. Shotgun it is. Let's put out the flames with some glue. And grab some organic on the way by, and then pick up this turret, and let's take them upstairs. Hop over this banister and along this little ledge here, and then stay over to the corner here. Because what I want to do is get this turret set up before I activate this little asshole. Thank you, friend turret. And now let's set him up in this doorway, because there are, surprise, surprise, some mimics in here. Lock the door with him, and trigger the mimics. Right. Now bring him in a little bit.
Deploying.
And trigger mimic number 3.
Alien threat detected.
Okay, well, Mimic number 4 is going to go down to a recycle grenade anyway, but if you want to stay in there and meet the same fate, you be my guest. Except he didn't. He hugged the wall. Okay. Gotta come out sometime. And that is all 4 mimics. And in addition to dealing with that mimic, we've gotten a bit of recyclable material, which is always welcome. How's my inventory? Let me go drop off recyclables in here. Along with all the packaged food. You know what, those can stay for now. Oop. And first, let me grab this transcribe and get it playing.
Alex,
oh, actually, it's going to play the one that I hadn't played yet.
Too late. Graves, are you still in fabrication? The receptor molecules, the exotic neurotransmitters, we didn't synthesize them. And there's no terrestrial source.
Graves, don't do anything drastic. You know me. You know I always have a contingency plan.
We've been shoving it into our skulls. It all comes from them. But you never...
I'm going to send someone to help you.
I need to get this out now. Oh God, but the neuromods, they can still be fabricated.
Graves, do not touch the Neuromod licenses. Do you hear me?
And Graves didn't listen. So if you actually get the Neuromod license by any other means, it will allow you to craft 7 of them. 7 Neuromods, and then the copy protection quest will kick off, which requires you to go to Halden Graves' office in order to undo it so you can craft more Neuromods. And, well, we kind of skipped ahead a little bit and did that proactively, which is going to be very, very handy for us in this run. Okay, I think that's this room cleared out. So let's grab friend turret. And bring them around the corner here. And get them situated here in our office.
Eradicator auto turret version 0.7.6 online.
Okay. I'm going to duck into Trauma Center really quick, but there is a very dangerous enemy in here, again, who I really do not want to risk dealing with right now. So what I'm going to do is just loot this first room.
Breakfast is served in the cafeteria until 9 a.m.
And I'm going to grab a quest update. Providing it is safe to do so, yes. Okay, so that email should have given us the update. And I've already got the area map, don't need that. Sylvain Bellamy's tracking bracelet can be recycled. Okay, grab stuff, grab stuff, grab stuff, go, go, go. And you know what, now that I'm about to leave, I'll risk making the noise to smash that. And you guys can just stand there for now. We'll be back once we're properly geared up. There, let's recycle everything that I just grabbed. I've got everything in there that I need to be. Yeah. And finally, after a whole lot of running around doing just about anything except the main quest, let's log into our computer, read our emails, including one from what looks to be our ex-girlfriend, Mikhaila Ilyushin. And play that video that January is so keen on having us see.
Hello, Morgan. Tough day, right? If I'm talking to myself, it must be. Now, your memory's shot full of holes. I know. I'm sorry, but it's permanent. So the first thing you need to know is you can trust January. It's an operator, a sort of backup of you and me. It knows what you've forgotten. We've been testing a new kind of neuromod based on the Typhon organisms, mapping their neural patterns onto ours. Problem is, when you uninstall a neuromod, it resets your memory back to the moment you first put it in. That's why you forget. There's supposed to be a process to bring you back up to speed between test runs. But someone could just skip that part, turn a single day into your entire life. Well, That's exactly what Alex did. The question is, why? You're not gonna like what I have to say next.
Yeah, nobody likes hearing connection lost. That's the thing.
I thought I found every one of those damn radios. Sorry, but I can't let you listen to that. Not until I've had a chance to explain everything in person. For now, just... Damn it. I have to go. Just sit tight. Please.
Well, that's great, but I don't think I'll do that. I think what I will do is craft myself a whole bunch of level ups.
Sorry. Alex cut us off from the Looking Glass servers. Time to improvise. I suggest you search Dr. Calvino's workshop in the hardware labs. He invented the Looking Glass technology. You might find a way to restore the server connections there. I'm looking for another way to help you in the meantime. Good luck.
Are you on your way?
On my way where?
Octavia, didn't you see the alert? We're supposed to muster.
Listen, it's really sweet that you're worried about me, but we've had alerts before, and I've got 3 more of these glorified vacuum cleaners to fix before my shift is over. Oh, make that 4. Someone dropped off another. God, these things are junk.
I don't think this is a drill, Octavia. I'm sending you the code. Please, come to the escape pods right now.
Unfortunately, Octavia did not listen. But okay. As you will have seen, I just crafted a shit ton of neuromods. So it's time to go on a spending spree. Now let's take a look at our priorities here. I want to get combat focused right away because being able to slow time is just invaluable. I'm also going to take the first rank of toughness because I would be honestly kind of insane to do anything else. Now that said, let's take a look at what we need here. I'm going to want dismantle before I head over into the hardware labs because I want to be able to grab stuff from broken operators. And what other priorities are there? Hacking I will get, but not quite yet. And finally, I'm going to get repair 2 so that I can get turrets back up and running if I need to. But okay. But having thoroughly cleared out most of the lobby and Neuromod Division, looted the Neuromod crafting plans, and gotten a massive head start on leveling up our abilities by crafting a ton of them, I'd say that's a strong start to the series. Next time on Prey, we'll be venturing into the hardware labs to try to restore access to the Looking Glass servers, and along the way, looting everything that isn't a mimic and killing everything that is. I hope you'll join me for that next week. For now, thank you all very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.